There is a strong, very strong American presence building up at Leeds United over in the English Premier League. And now that Tyler Adams and Brendan Aaronson are linking up with American coach Jesse Marshh over at Leeds United. We're going to break it all down. I'm Chaz Messman. That's Ryan Deeb, and you're watching Stars and Strikes.
And it's a goal for the United States. Le va a pegar al arco, busca el pelotazo, golazo.
Jim Ballistic, you're listening to Stars and Stripes.
And it's damn near become the American embassy over in England with now that Tyler Adams, Brendan Aaronson have linked up with Jesse Marshh.
Look, before we get into everything else too, it's like this is the summer. If you're kind of on the edge, the fringe, this is a summer where you absolutely need a move. And we've seen some big moves, but we also haven't seen some other big moves from players that may be on the cusp. So, but like you said, at Leeds, those are two big players who have got moves that could potentially play in their favor for the best when going towards the World Cup, especially Brendan Aaronson going over to Leeds. We know he's kind of been on the outs, whether it's Weah, Gio Reyna, Aaronson. This move may give him the opportunity to solidify himself as that number three, that third guy up front. So I think that's a great opportunity for him, and not to mention Tyler Adams.
Yeah, if we start this conversation with Brendan Aaronson, I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic at Leeds. He fits exactly the type of system that Jesse Marshh is looking for. That's the reason he signed him with RB Salzburg when he was the manager there over in Austria. Brendan Aaronson absolutely killed it there, won a couple of league titles, and now he's coming over, and immediately he's had an impact just in preseason with his ability, just that energy that he has and that he plays with. There are not many players around the world that have that energy and the quality and talent that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be a totally different game. This is the Premier League that he's coming to play in now, and it's not Austria. I mean, he skipped the German part of the Red Bull track. But look, this is the Premier League. So without getting too excited, like you said, I think Leeds in particular is going to be great for him because of his ability, his athleticism. That's the team, I mean, probably where some of the most athletic players in the league play just because of their style. So I think it's going to be perfect for him. And especially obviously under that kind of management, he's going to get the opportunity to prove himself before the World Cup. So I think at this point in his career, it's the best sort of option he can make.
Yeah, both these guys, I think, are going to be crucial players come game one throughout the season and throughout the whole World Cup cycle and everything. I mean, when you look at Tyler Adams, that's another guy that Jesse Marshh has worked with since he was a young kid. Remember, he worked under Jesse Marshh at New York Red Bulls and at RB Leipzig. So it's another player that Marshh knows fits his style. He's grown up with him. The communication's there. They know what they want from each other. And just based on the squad that Leeds has, both of these guys, you could argue, are going to be two of their most, if not the two most important players alongside the likes of Patrick Bamford and their goalkeeper next season.
I mean, exactly. And it's nothing to do with them being American and, serving under an American manager. But I think it's just down to the fact that these guys were perfect signings for Leeds. So I think it's definitely going to play into their favor, and hopefully Leeds can get the best out of them. I mean, I know that they kind of get blown out at times, but as it's looking, they've had a strong preseason. So who knows what they have to come? They're kind of looking have a different look to them now going into this next season, and they're looking sharp. So let's hope these two boys can do their best.
This might be a little bit of a bold prediction, but I think Brendan Aaronson next season in the Premier League is a really good shout as a young player of the year candidate. I think he is going to be absolute dynamite in the Premier League. That guy just does not get tired. His motor is unlike almost any player the U.S. have ever had in that regard. And these guys are replacing big time players for Leeds. So it doesn't come without pressure, but having Jesse Marshh be there, I think kind of relieves that pressure from the fans being like, okay, we have to replace Raphina and Kalvin-Phillips, who've moved on to massive clubs. But I think they're both ready for the challenge.
Yeah, and that's
There you go.
something. No, that's something that we got to consider as well, because as much as excited we want to get to see these guys at Leeds, you can't compare Tyler Adams and Kalvin-Phillips. You can't compare Brendan Aaronson and Rodrigo. It's it would be naive of me to say that it's not a downgrade, which it is. I hate to say it, but so it comes with great pressure on these guys, like you mentioned, and they have big shoes to fill. So I don't want to say, yeah, it's going to be a bang on season for Leeds. They're going to get in the top 10. It could also be a bad season for Leeds. So you never know. And Leeds is one of those clubs who may struggle, or they may go top 10, they may go 8th, 9th, who knows? So I don't want to make any, harsh judgment calls now and say, oh, Leeds is going to struggle, Leeds is going to do great. But I think looking at it objectively, these two players are set to be successful at this club, but we just got to see how overall. I mean, there's 7 other players that are going to be on. Is that no? My math's terrible. There's 9 other players that are going to be on the field with them. So as excited as we want to be about these two, they're surrounded by a whole team. So let's hope that they could fill those big shoes that they're coming after.
Yeah, and most importantly, they're going to get play time, obviously barring injury. They're going to see the field, and that's really the most important thing you want from your most important players before the World Cup. And they're different types of players than the players that they're replacing. Obviously, Brendan Aaronson is not a true out-and-out winger like Raphina is. Kalvin-Phillips is a much better passer than the likes of Tyler Adams, as he likes to dictate play. But where Tyler Adams thrives is breaking up play and just trying to be that all-action disruptor guy. Yeah, he can pass the ball, but that's not his best attributes. And just he's going to love the physicality of the Premier League, isn't he? I mean, Tyler Adams is going to be not quite the Roy Keane type of guy, but he's going to be sliding into challenges, the physicality, the chippiness, the bitterness, screaming at referees, just the passion and gritty type player that, Premier League fans have almost made into cult heroes. Tyler Adams can 100% be that at Leeds.
Yeah, and what better club to be at than Leeds if you're looking for kind of the chippy, really style of play that you learn in CONCACAF. It's like these guys are they've had their prerequisites filled out for the Premier League just by playing Mexico, playing Honduras, playing Costa Rica. Like these guys should have that part of the game on lock. I mean, not to mention their other attributes. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them bring some of that CONCACAF play to the Premier League.
It's going to be interesting to see if any other Americans end up at Leeds United. I think after those two moves, and obviously with Jesse Marshh being the coach there, it's kind of gone a little bit overboard with, they're interested in this player, this American player. If there's a good American player who might be in the market for a move, it's like he's going to Leeds.
Yeah,
and I think,
let's go.
And I think that's not the case with these two players. Those were two strategic buys. Like, I'm pretty sure Leeds, the links with Brendan Aaronson were before Jesse Marshh even took over. And Tyler Adams, obviously, is a player who wasn't an everyday starter at Leipzig. So he's in the market for maybe not quite a step down, but a team that might be pushing for European play, but not an out-and-out Champions League team, just because he needs minutes before the World Cup.
Yeah, and I know everybody wants to joke, it's the American club over there, and we're going to sign all the Americans, but I think these two guys definitely have, like you mentioned, they have the qualities, and they earned that move.
That's all we got for you on this edition of Stars and Strikes.
This is the place to be for anything and everything USMNT. Check out our other content on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts.
Make sure to hit like and subscribe. And also hit us up on social media as we follow the boys on their quest for glory in Qatar. We will see you real soon. what the hell is going on with John Brooks? I mean, he went from national team hero to now being without a club. Can he still get back into the team before the 2022 World Cup? We got it all for you on Stars and Stripes.